ransomware attack. Tell us where we're at right now as far as if you were to go, are we 80% back? Are we 90? Are we 100? Are we 50?
That's a great question. And you're right, our teams worked 24/7, literally around the clock. That's not a metaphor. We were in our emergency operations center right during the height of that cyber attack. There were folks, no names named, there were folks in that emergency operations center who I saw with the same shirt on multiple days in a row. And it's really incredible the way our team kind of did that. The way we do it, you said you don't know how. It's because we have an incredible staff, an incredible team. Our emergency management department and our Office of Technology and Communications just identified it quickly. They fought it off, and they did everything that they needed to do quickly to secure those kind of spaces. Our first promise was to say that we were going to make sure that our public safety services would continue uninterrupted. They did, and from there, the goal was to say, look, a lot of our city employees did enormous work to be able to continue the continuity of city operations, and so many of our employees may not have had access for some point in time to different applications and different software that they're used to, but they all, literally all, kind of pushed forward to continue to be able to provide frontline public services. And so most of our front-facing services are back up and running now. Just in the last week, we got public Wi-Fi in city buildings back up. That's something that a lot of folks rely on.
Libraries, rec centers,
that's
huge.
Exactly right. That's something that a lot of, I mean, the internet is not a luxury these days. Right. I mean, it's, if you want to take a class or apply for a job, you have to be on the internet. So that's really important. There's a couple of systems that we're still working to kind of bring online, but all of those are kind of back-end kind of systems that our city employees use. And so a big round of applause. I mean, my hat goes off to all of our city employees for fighting us through that thing.
Yeah, we don't get into a lot of detail, but for those who are watching you now and maybe hadn't heard or haven't been following, you know, we know it was a ransomware attack, but no ransom was paid.
No, we didn't pay the ransom. Our teams worked literally in the first like 24 to 48 hours after we identified the suspicious activity. Yeah. Our teams worked really fast to do a citywide backup of all of our data. So we knew from the beginning that they wouldn't be able to lock us out of our own data.
Okay.
The threat that they made, they do a kind of a dual threat, which is one, I'm either going to lock you out of your data, I'm going to encrypt it and lock you out. We knew that was off the table. Or they say, I'm going to release some of your data. So they released a little bit of data. They released about 43 gigabytes. Okay. We host over 500 terabytes of data on our systems, and they released 43 gigabytes. And so, you know, we're still in the process of combing through a lot of that and determining what was in that. But on the whole, our team did incredibly.
Okay. And employees impacted here. General public, though, people are worried about their Social Security numbers,
That's
things
right.
like that. We just want to reiterate.
That's right. City government doesn't have most people's Social Security numbers. There's, you know, what they released was kind of our city employees in one of our departments, our Parks and Rec departments, sort of discretionary drives that they can save whatever they want on. In some cases, it's a family recipe. In some cases, it could be a W-9. So out of an abundance of caution, we funded a full year of identity theft protection insurance and credit monitoring for all of our city employees, whether their names were in that dump or not.
Can I give you another scale to judge here on 1 to 10 and moving forward? If you were to say, I feel confident that we are set up, knowing there's no guarantees, we are set up for future potential attacks. Where are you on that? 10 being we have thrown the kitchen sink at this thing and then some. Where are you at?
We've definitely thrown the kitchen sink and then some at it. We have, in the last 2 months, we have done forensic kind of evaluation and analysis of every single system and software that our city runs. We have reset over 3,500, well, I say over 3,400 city staff's passwords. We have just under 100 to go.
That was an ordeal.
That was an ordeal.
Itself, yeah.
I have the longest password of my life right now. So we did that. We installed heightened cybersecurity software on every device in the city, so that was a big lift as well. And so, you know, we're pretty well poised. Every cybersecurity expert will tell you that every system is susceptible. In the last month, Google announced that they had been attacked and had, you know, somebody had released some of their data. So literally every system is susceptible, and you know, it's the same as anything. The smarter the antivirus stuff gets, the smarter the viruses get, and so it's one of those things where you're never done with.
Yeah.
And so yes, we've thrown everything in the kitchen sink at it, but that won't cover us for tomorrow. We got to throw it at we got to throw it at it tomorrow as well.
Well, it's interesting. At the time this happened, you were getting prepared to pull together your budget and roll that out. I'm curious. Is there a cost, even a ballpark cost, of what the mitigation and recovery and time loss, all of this stuff is costing? And then how did you did you have to go back into your original budget, and go, I got to redline all this stuff now? How did that work?
We did do some adjustments of our original budget to just, of course, there was a significant office, employee overtime expense as folks were sleeping at the Emergency Operations Center. There was a cost to putting that heightened cybersecurity software on all of our devices citywide. Certainly an enormous cost to this big lift to, in 3 days' time, reset over 3,000 passwords in face-to-face in person. So there is an enormous cost to that. We are still kind of getting our arms around it. But that cost is going to be well over $1 million, but also I'd say less expensive than not doing it.
Okay. And when you had to go back into the budget, were there things that you had to cut out that really were tough, but given the circumstances, you had to go back in?
Well, it was already a tough budget, and it's one of the reasons why our levy proposal is, I think, lower than any other city that I've seen this year, because there's so much pressures on cities right now. And so we had already kind of done an enormous amount of kind of pushing down. So we ended up adding some of for example, we've been on this mission over the past few years to boost our cybersecurity posture, and the cyber attack caused us to accelerate some of that. That had for example, the heightened cybersecurity software that we put on all of our devices citywide. The goal was to sort of spread that out over a number of years, but we decided to push it kind of forward, and so there's a cost associated with that. And so yes, we pulled that into our budget proposal for this year. And of course, the City Council is we're all supportive of cybersecurity efforts here.
Yeah, that's one thing you probably wouldn't have too much friction on.